up, everyone? It is a rainy, cold day, May 1st, here in western Pennsylvania, and I am out and about right now. It's a Sunday, getting some errands done. I actually had an opportunity. Ooh, camera, stay there. I will give you a warning though for this video before I talk anymore. If you're looking for fish catching, it's not gonna happen in this video. I didn't get a single bite yesterday. Nothing. So turn this off right now if that's what you're expecting. But if you want to see what I'm gonna be fishing on or how I have my new kayak set up, then stick around. Maybe you'll get something out of this video. I don't know how YouTubers do this. I really don't. Anyways, I had to pull over. That was too sketchy. Everything's fine though. Anyways, I actually had an opportunity to use my new kayak yesterday, which was awesome. It was in the 40s, 50s, a little bit cold, but the sun was out and there was no wind, so it wasn't too bad. I fished for about 4 or 5 hours and didn't get a single bite, but it's all right. I really wanted to just get my kayak out, get used to it, get used to deploying the motor, using the motor, stowing the motor, all that stuff. But I filmed a little video showing my kayak setup. It's nothing special, but I'm very proud of it. I think it's gonna be an awesome fishing vessel for many, many years. So I hope you enjoy the video. That's good enough. Oh, and shout out to my dad. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. You're the man. So this is the Vibe Shearwater 125. I apologize if the lighting isn't the best. I wanted to do this outside, but it's raining right now. It's kind of miserable out there. So we're stuck in the garage for now. But this is it. And so I'll address why I decided to get the Vibe Shearwater. I just love how it's very versatile. Like right now, the way I show you it here is all rigged up for a bow mount trolling motor, which we'll get into. But I do love how they have these pods that you can change out. So right now that's the standard pod, just a flat pod where you can stand on, but you can put a pedal drive in there. So if I wanted to use pedals on this kayak, I could do that. Another cool thing about this boat is that Vibe has these access panels on the front and on the back. There's actually one in the middle under the seat as well, which lets you get access to the hull. And I felt a lot better drilling in these electrical outlets for my motor into this piece of plastic. Since this is replaceable, you don't have to go into the actual hull of the boat. This isn't a revolutionary kayak build or anything. It's just my first time ever doing this. I have 8-gauge wire running from the front to the back to those plugs I just showed you. First time I ever did any sort of electrical wiring, and it was actually pretty easy. I just bought some tools on Amazon and figured it out myself. But I guess we'll start at the front here. This is the OneObjective bow mount plate, and they make these specifically for the type of kayak that you're buying, and they make it super easy. You don't have to do any sort of drilling. There was a handle here from the Vibe Shearwater that they actually just, you remove the handle completely and then you put this plate on. And on top of that, you can see here I have the MotorGuide quick mounting bracket, which is also on the bottom of my MotorGuide Xi3. This is the kayak edition, so it's a shorter shaft made specifically for kayaks, and it's the non-GPS model. I had already spent a ton of money on my kayak and on my trailer and everything. I was just really trying to save money where I could. It is something that you can add on, and if I feel that I am missing that, I might add that on later. My first trip out yesterday, I didn't care about not having a GPS trolling motor. It might be nice for the GPS anchoring, but for now this will do. And like I said, I can always add that on later if I wanted. So let me get this thing mounted up so you can see what it looks like. All right, there's the Xi3 mounted up. It comes with this pin that you just pop into place and it secures it down so it doesn't fall off when you're on the water. Really cool. I loved using this yesterday. I can tell that it's just gonna get me focused on fishing way more than my paddleboard was. Especially on windy days, I was constantly fighting the wind, trying to position myself. This thing, I was smiling the whole time using this. So really cool. Don't have much experience with it yet, only one trip out, but you know, it was very intuitive. This is the remote that comes with it. You just throw the lanyard around your neck. It just has an on-off for the motor, a left or right, an increased speed and a decreased speed. Really easy, really intuitive. I don't even have to look at this thing, you know, while it's hanging there. I'm able to feel around for the buttons, and it's really quick and easy. All right, and obviously I had to put this quick connection plug here, which plugs into right here, which I discussed earlier. Really easy. This is the Yak Attack Panfish Portrait. Nice little camera mount I bought. This pod is really cool. This thing pulls off, and there's actually a transducer mount underneath, so I can eventually mount a fish finder right here with the battery inside the dry box, and then run the wires from the transducer into this box, and it can be all one piece. So I'm looking forward to buying that eventually once I get out of debt here. The other accessory I have is a Yak Attack paddle park, and this is a custom net. I didn't come up with this idea at all. This is just a floating net I got on Amazon and a piece of PVC that I filled with expanding foam just to extend this handle. This net has another use too. I wanted a longer handle, so when I'm sitting back at my seat where I am now, I can use the net to actually click the pedal on the motor to drop it into the water. I'll show you a little bit closer right here. So with the net, I can just depress this guy and the motor will fall into the water. I also have, you can see here, a handle attached to the shaft of the motor. This is so when I do hit that quick release with my net, it doesn't fall into the water violently, you know, like crazy. This will let me ease it down into the water. And it's just a piece of paracord with a lawnmower pull handle. You know, like one of those pull start handles. I just got a pack of these from Amazon and attached it to paracord, and then just did a simple few overhand knots, and this thing has some play. But it actually did a good job. It stayed right here as the motor turned, and it didn't move with it. So this actually worked out better than I thought. Really nice seat with some under-seat storage here. I just have general stuff like a scale, some line, pliers, the scupper hole plugs, just whatever you'd like. Nice storage there. Got my really cheap Amazon paddle broken down on both sides because I would hate to have my motor die when I'm out there and have no other way to get home. So always keep a paddle with you. Some room back here. I have this seat pulled all the way back and I still have a decent amount of space. So I have a dry bag, which just has, like, you know, first aid stuff and like a poncho, just emergency type gear if I ever do get in trouble. Here are some soft plastics. I keep some baits, 3600 series boxes. You can fit 2 on both sides, and that's all the tackle I need. That's perfect. We have built-in rod holders, so 2 rods on each side. Really nice. You don't have to worry about a kayak crate or anything like that. And this guy right here houses my battery. So if I open this up, this is a lithium battery. It was a cheap one from Amazon. You know, I say cheap, but this thing was still like almost $400, which is crazy. Some of them can get up close to $1,000 if you buy name brand, which is ridiculous. But I have a breaker, 60 amp breaker wired into this. And you can see, you know, a mess of cables, and it actually comes out of the back. I just drilled a hole into another connector, which goes right there. Super easy. So I can take this off, put it in my vehicle. Same with the motor. All this stuff I can just remove. Okay, the other issue I need to address is these tracks that are missing from the back of my kayak. There's a story with this, and I got some of it on video, but I had to just turn the video off because I was so mad and I was, you know, cussing up a storm, and I don't want that on my channel. But I had Boondocks, I think it's called the Groovy landing gear, mounted to the tracks. You know, it's a track mount system, and everything worked fine. You know, I've been using it for a few weeks, rolling this thing back and forth in and out of my garage. No big deal. But the only difference this time was that I had my kayak fully loaded, and I'm guessing this is well over 100 pounds now. So I got it into the water with no issues, fully loaded, but coming out of the water, the track on this side halfway bent out and ripped off of the kayak, and this one completely ripped off the kayak. No damage at all, which is great to the kayak itself, but those tracks, I tried finding them in my garbage, but they're buried. They're just bent. They're completely bent in half. And I ordered a couple more from Vibe, so I'll get those replaced and eventually probably get like another camera mount back here or something. I don't want to talk bad about any company. Like, I don't think it's a Vibe issue. I don't think it's a Boondocks issue. I just think if you are going to track mount landing gear on your kayak, you need to make sure your track will actually handle the weight, because clearly with this thing completely rigged up the way you see it now, it just ripped these tracks right off. And it is what it is. I think that if I were to completely strip this kayak down, you know, not have the motor or the battery or anything on it, I would be able to use the landing gear no problem. So lesson learned, it's all right. I'm actually not gonna continue to use it because I don't want that happening ever again. I actually ordered a Railblaza C-Tug cart for the time being. You know, unless I figure something else out with the Boondocks landing gear, I don't want that happening again. I don't think that the gear tracks are built for that sort of stress. So if you plan on using landing gear track mounted on your Vibe Shearwater, don't have your kayak completely loaded up with your gear. That's enough talking. Hope you guys at least appreciated me showing you my fishing vessel, and I can't wait to get this out for more trips of 2022 and actually catch a fish on this thing. So let me roll the footage that I have from my trip yesterday, the maiden voyage of the Vibe Shearwater 125. Enjoy. So I haven't really worked out all the details yet, but my plan is to just hit this down. I can just do this. There you go. Uh-oh. Oh, it's not engaged. That's why. There we go. And we're moving. That's so cool. Wow, I'm so happy. I'm gonna try standing as well. Let's see how this feels standing. Obviously I wouldn't go super fast when I'm standing, not at first. Oh, it's so cool. This feels good, man. It's in the 30s right now. It's a little bit cold. Water's very cold. I wish I had a fish finder on here to give you guys a water temperature, but we've had some days in the 70s and even reaching up to the 80s. It's the end of April, so the weather's kind of crazy right now. You have to be careful when you come out here, because if you do fall in, you're at risk of hypothermia. So I have on a wetsuit under all these clothes, so I'm pretty warm. I know a wetsuit isn't ideal for super cold water. You want something called a dry suit, but those are like $1,000, and I'd already spent a ton of money on all this stuff. So if I do fall in, hopefully it buys me a few more minutes, because hypothermia is real. But let me practice pulling this motor up, see how it is. Press that down. Oh, that's super easy. Now the problem is that it's not oriented correctly. It doesn't really, I wonder if I can push this. Oh, yeah, that'll work. I'm all hung up in the cable though. All right, we're figuring things out. Let's see. Press this down, pull this up, and then I can just straighten this with my, there we go. So the net is crucial. I had a feeling that'd be the case. I've seen some videos of guys who just are able to pull this thing up and down with no issue, so I have to figure that out. But I don't mind using the net to orient this thing correctly. So that's not bad. I can't get over it. I can just chill. I gained some weight over the winter, so paddling is just out of the question. Oh my God. What was that? What was that? Oh, it ripped out. Oh my God. That's not good. That's not good at all.